I'm never gonna see Michael again. What am I gonna do? I can't live without him.
Girl, get up. Girl, get up. Girl, get up again.
Hello out there in TV land. Take a look at your monitors.
Hi, I'm Destiny from As Told by Destiny. You're watching YouTube. Since I'm out here all up in Raven's business, I might as well keep it going and talk about some of my other favorite girls and their boy crazy moments, or moments where they got just a little too crazy behind the boy. I mean, these are the moments that made me feel seen growing up, because these girls were doing the insane things that I sometimes thought about in my head as a teenage girl, but would never do, because real life is not a wacky 90s or early 2000s sitcom. It's just not. Trust me, I know. It's not. Real life has real life consequences. But do y'all remember the time Tia got a tattoo in the name of love? Let's get into it. So the episode starts off with Tia on the phone kicking with her boyfriend Michael, while Tamara is left talking to us, the audience. At this particular point in the show, Tia has a boyfriend while Tamara is single, which, if I'm remembering correctly, was a recurring theme for the show. There are a few times where the writers gave Tia a boyfriend and left Tamara by her lonesome, so no wonder our girl is feeling a little left out. She talks about how when you're 15 and you don't have a boyfriend, it seems like the whole world is a couple and they have their own secret code that only they can understand.
You know. I know you know. I didn't say it was a brilliant code.
But then Tamara goes on to say that she can't really blame Tia for being a little ditzy behind Michael, because he is cute, adorable, and has a great smile.
I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon?
Yes, you can see it all in her face. Tamara is crushing on Tia's boyfriend, which again, if my memory serves me correctly, was also another recurring theme on the show. Now, maybe it only happened one or two other times, but of course someone crushing on their sibling's boyfriend or girlfriend is going to stick out. So I remember, this ain't the first time this didn't happen. Still, I don't have any judgment for Tamara. She's only 15 years old, very young and impressionable, and I know it's not malicious on her end. And despite what anybody gotta say about it, I also know that it's something that's not out of the ordinary. A little questionable, yes, because girl, why you crushing on your sister's boyfriend? But it's not out of the ordinary. I got two older sisters and I vividly remember them bringing some pretty cute boys around, and I crushed a lot growing up, so I crushed on a couple of them. But on a serious note, if Tamara has no boyfriend at this age where having a boyfriend seems to be the most important thing in the world, and Tia is always bringing hers around, I don't think it's insane for Tamara to have somehow developed feelings for him. Now, what she decides to do with those feelings is when things could get a little wicked, but her just having a crush on the boy isn't crazy to me. You know, Tamara, do you? Anywho, after getting off the phone with Michael, Tia wants to know if Tamara would like to go to the movies with her tonight, since her date with Michael got canceled due to him having to work. Tamara says she doesn't know because she hates going to the movies on Saturday nights and watching everybody else hugging and kissing while she's picking juju beans out of her retainer. But to make Tamara feel better, Tia tells her that she'll bring a sweater along with them to the movies so they could put it on an empty seat and tell people that their dates are out getting popcorn.
That's really dumb. We'll need 2 sweaters.
It's hilarious that it would ever be that serious, but I admire their innovation and critical thinking skills. A little time later, we end up in the living room with Tia and Tamara going through the newspaper to figure out what movie they'll be seeing tonight. There's really a time in history where people had to look in the newspaper for what movie they were going to see instead of just pulling up an app or something. And as a woman strangely obsessed with the 90s, a time period I only spent about 9 months in due to being born March of 1999, so although I am technically a 90s baby, everything I consciously grew up on is from the 2000s, so not really. Not the way I would have wanted to be. So I don't know nothing about having to pick up a newspaper to pick a movie, but it sounds fun. I know just like anybody who got to experience that in real time, you think you better than me, and you are. Anywho, then Lisa the Stallion comes downstairs looking fine as wine because she's on her way out the door too.
You think this is too sexy?
No.
I better go change.
Around this time in the show, she's dated a man named Terrence, played by Dorian Wilson, who in the future in a totally different universe would become mostly known as a man I love to despise, Stanley Devontae Ogilvy. I really can't stand that man. That has nothing to do with the topic at hand, but I just had to say it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it every time I get the opportunity to say it. I can't stand that man.
I really don't like that guy.
Anyways, then Lisa leaves and Tia and Tamara gather their things to leave right behind her, with Tamara being very enthusiastic about the fun she believes she's about to have with Tia.
Come on, let's get to the movies. This is gonna be so fun.
But before they can make it out the door, there's a phone call, and who's on the other end? Michael. And Michael no longer has to work, so he wants to know if Tia is doing anything. Now, he literally called right in the middle of the thing Tia was on her way to do, but when I say Tia instantly, and I do mean instantly, forgets all about going to the movies with Tamara, she is quite literally halfway up the stairs before it dawns on her that she did have other plans tonight that didn't have nothing to do with Michael. And the crazy thing is, she's the one who asked Tamara if she wanted to go to the movies tonight. She's the one who got that girl's hopes all up on high that she wouldn't be spending another Saturday night stuck in the house alone, just to ditch her as soon as Michael was available. But if it's not already obvious, and if you didn't figure that out by the title of this video, Michael has Tia's head completely gone right now, and not even her own twin sister. Mind you, that she just discovered last year, because this is season 2. So her and Tamara have barely known each other a full year, but still Tia has no desire to hang out with Tamara over Michael. That's how bad our girl is gone right now, and it's just gonna get worse from here.
Lord Jesus.
After being brokenhearted and discarded by Tia, we end up in the kitchen with Tamara and a slice of pizza as her only true companion. Ray shows up and questions her about why she's still in the house since he thought she was going out with Tia tonight. Tamara tells him about how she was almost out the door with Tia, but then she got a call from Michael, and we all saw how that went. Obviously feeling bad that Tamara is stuck in the house, Ray then offers for them to go out and do something together. But although Tamara is feeling down bad, she's not feeling down bad enough to be seen out with her father on a Saturday night.
Don't go out with your father on a Saturday night.
Although I completely understand what Tamara is going through right now, I'm unable to ignore how much she's taking her father for granted in this moment. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of young girls, boys, men, and women out there who wish they had a father to spend a Saturday night with, or any night with for that matter, me being one of them. Ooh, it's getting a little personal. Let's move on. Then we got to Michael and Tia entering a tattoo parlor, and I just had to say parlor instead of shop because parlor just feels fitting for the time period we're in. Parlor just feels 90s. Anyways, Michael is played by Brandon Quincy Adams, 90s teen heartthrob royalty. He played one of Tia's boyfriends, he showed up for Ashley Banks, and he's Moesha's Aaron. Iconic behavior if you ask me. But this is where things may get a little confusing, but stay with me, and you may already know this if you've been sister as much as I have. Now, I want to make it clear that Michael is a recurring boyfriend for Tia. This isn't his first time showing up, but the thing is, a couple of episodes ago, he had a totally different face. Sister had a crazy recasting problem. They had a lot of actors and actresses coming back playing different people. So Michael was originally played by Wesley Jonathan, who also played another one of Tia's boyfriends in season 1, but his name was Charles then. Charles is not to be confused with Michael. Michael has only been a thing since season 2 episode 4, and this is season 2 episode 8 that I'm currently covering. I don't know how long Tia and Michael have been dating for real, but it's however much time has passed between the last 4 episodes.
Anyway, so
then Michael starts looking around the tattoo parlor at the different art options or whatever, and this prompts him to ask Tia if she were to get a tattoo, what would she get?
Me? Like I'd ever do that.
You can tell it's something that has never even crossed her mind, but then Michael tells her how hot he thinks she would look with one, and now suddenly Tia can see herself with a tattoo.
Hot?
Girl, get up.
Then Michael looks over and peeps a couple getting eked up together, and you already know where this is going.
We should do this.
And again, at first, our girl Tia has the good enough sense to tell him how absolutely ridiculous that is, but then Michael pleads his case by telling her how it would be a really good way to show how much they love each other. And even though Tia is supposed to be the more intelligent twin, you know, the one who possessed the most book smarts, none of Tia's intelligence can save her common sense from jumping out the window when she hears that L word. She wants to know all the details. When did Michael first realize he was in love with her?
I guess the first time I saw you.
What did she say? What was she wearing?
I don't remember.
Oh, that's so romantic.
Girl, get up. Girl, get up again.
Now, when it comes to Michael, I genuinely think he really likes Tia, and I don't believe he's maliciously or purposely trying to get her to do something she wouldn't normally do. So I don't think he told her he loves her just to get her to get the tattoo. I believe he really believes that he is in love with her, and that just so happened to also be the thing that would actually get her to go through with it. Obviously, neither one of them fully understand the magnitude of the word and what it truly entails, but they're young and they have strong feelings for each other, and sometimes with that mixture, stupid decisions are going to be made, like getting a damn tattoo.
Lord Jesus.
Then we jump back to the house where Tamara is in the bed asleep while Tia is just making it back in from her date, which feels completely insane to me. The fact that Tamara could be in the bed asleep while Tia is just making it in the house, that just feels like something that should never happen, especially when they're only 15 years old. But we did learn in season 1 that their curfew has been 11 p.m. since they were 14 years old, which again feels completely insane to me. But it's the 90s and they live in a good neighborhood and it's a fictional world. Somehow that explains it all.
Child. Anyway, so
the fact that Tamara is crushing on Michael comes back around because she's in the bed dreaming about him.
Michael. Tamara, hey. You were dreaming about Michael?
Oh, our girl is deprived. To save herself, she tells Tia that she was dreaming about Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. The whole Jackson family. Except LaToya.
Why was everybody in the 80s and 90s on LaToya's neck like that? I feel like every back in the day black TV show I've ever watched had a LaToya joke somewhere in it. What did that lady do to deserve all that? Not be as musically successful as her siblings? If that's the case, then y'all know y'all wrong. Leave LaToya alone. Anywho, now Tamara is interested in how Tia's date went with Michael, and this is when Tia reveals the tattoo she got. Half of a heart with Michael's name in it and vice versa. He did the same with her name. Just like me, Tamara is perplexed and bewildered that Tia of all people would do something like this.
You got a tattoo? You?
Tia was definitely the more well-behaved twin who cared about her academics, while Tamara was just a little wild. I don't think she was that wild, but just a little wild, and she cared more about having fun. So getting a tattoo behind a boy or for any reason honestly feels super out of character for Tia, which is probably why it's literally never mentioned again after this episode. But I guess that's also the point of the episode, that love, especially at this age, will make you do some out of character things. I wouldn't personally know anything about that. At 15, I was reading and writing Wattpad stories and highly terrified of boys. And now I'm 27 and I read my Kindle right from time to time and I'm petrified of men. So it's about the same, but let's not get personal. Let's keep moving on. I said all of that to say that I have no personal connection to this episode at all. I don't know nothing about intense, insane teenage love that would make you do something as crazy as getting a tattoo, but having not experienced something is no excuse to not be understanding of someone who's in a situation you may not know anything about personally. So I get that what Tia got going on right now is a thing. Hell, full-grown adults get tattoos behind love every day, so I'm not going to be overly critical of a teenage girl. This episode kind of feels like a fever dream compared to how Tia is in the future of the show. Like straight hair Tia would never. But again, I guess that's the point. Anywho, trying to knock some sense back into Tia, Tamara tells her that Lisa is going to rip her shoulder off when she sees that tattoo, but Tia simply says that she's not going to tell her, which means she plans on hiding the tattoo, so we'll see how well that works out. Then on top of getting Michael's name tatted on her, Tia tells Tamara that there's more. The more is Michael telling her he loves her and it's something she wants to go on and on about. But hearing that Michael told Tia he's in love with her has Tamara visibly sick to her stomach. All of a sudden, she doesn't want to hear anything else about Tia and Michael until tomorrow. Our girl is suffering. The next day, we end up in the living room with Lisa watching TV. Then suddenly, Tia comes rushing down the stairs like a bat out of hell, heading straight for the door. She's behaving just like somebody who's had a whole tattoo.
Hi, Mom.
Lisa ends up asking Tia if she noticed that she wasn't up waiting for her by the door last night with a barrage of questions like she normally would be. I guess she decided to give Tia more independence and freedom when it comes to Dane Michael, and look what she done did with it. If you give a mouse a cookie, they're gonna get a tattoo. Stay woke. Then Lisa notices that Tia is about the same size as the customer she's currently designing for, so she wants Tia to try something on. Now typically Tia wouldn't have a problem with that. Her and Tamara are always being life-size mannequins for Lisa, but today Tia is hiding a whole tattoo on her shoulder. So the last thing she's trying to do is come out of her coat. Tia is behaving so suspiciously that of course Lisa ends up picking up on the fact that she's hiding something, but a tattoo is the last thing on her mind. She thinks Tia has gotten her first hickey.
You're right, Mom. And I'm so ashamed.
And Tia immediately agrees to this because I guess having a hickey is better than having a tattoo. But if I were a parent, they would be on the same level in my book. I wouldn't want my 15-year-old coming home with a hickey or a tattoo. I would be very sick to my stomach about both. I personally don't think a 15-year-old should be coming home with neither, but what do I know? I'm no one's mother and I have no real plans on ever being anyone's mother.
Child. Anyway, so
Lisa admits that she's not happy about the hickey she thinks Tia has, but she's not making a big deal about it. She tells Tia that she should put some cocoa butter on it because she knows all the tricks. Basically, mama had a life too vibes. But this is when shit gets real. Lisa goes to grab Tia's coat trying to see the hickey, but instead she sees a tattoo. Shocked, flabbergasted, appalled, dumbfounded, speechless are a few words to describe Lisa's reaction when she sees that tattoo sitting on her daughter's shoulder.
What the heck is this?
Poor Tia can't even form a coherent sentence to explain the reasoning behind the tattoo.
What happened is, well,
Then one thing leads to another, and Lisa, rightfully so, ends up telling Tia that she's grounded, and Tia pretty much consciously understands what she did was wrong in the midst that she did go a little crazy. But then Lisa also adds that she's never allowed to see Michael again, and this is when Tia goes from crazy to ballistic. Tia proceeds to hit Lisa with all the typical sitcom teenager things. Lisa can't keep her away from Michael. Lisa doesn't own her. Lisa isn't being fair and she's ruining her life. And the forever favorite,
I hate you!
Lisa, understanding that Tia is just going through something right now, tries to get through to her and remind her that she actually does love her mom, but Tia is standing on her hatred firmly.
You love me.
Then we end up in their bedroom with a broken-hearted Tia telling Tamara everything that just went down. Tia is beyond stressed out. She says that she doesn't know what she's going to do because she just can't live without Michael.
Stand up!
Trying to give her a solution, Tamara tells her that Lisa can't be everywhere, and Tia agrees, and this prompts her to try to call Michael on the phone, but Lisa is on her neck.
You are not talking to that boy!
And it turns out that Tia actually had plans to meet up with Michael tonight, but obviously she can't do that anymore. So she tells Tamara, who she doesn't know is crushing on him, that she has to do it. Tia basically wants to send her heart with Tamara to Michael. She wants Tamara to tell him that even though she can't see him, she'll be thinking of him every second of the day. Poor Tink Tink.
give him my tears.
Stand up!
Then we end up at Rocket Burger. I'm pretty sure that was the name of the hangout spot in Sister Sister in the earlier seasons. Rocket Burger, right? Anywho, Tamara ends up running into Roger before she gets to Michael, and he wants to know why Tia isn't with her, and Tamara lets him know that Tia is grounded. After a barrage of weird ass questions about whether Tia is grounded for doing something while naked,
At any point was she naked?
Tamara ends up telling Roger about the tattoo. Looking back on it, Roger was actually a very creepy little boy. Roger, who was a child himself, overly sexualized Tia and Tamara every chance he got. He stalked them. He would randomly appear in their room sometimes with no one knowing how he got there.
How'd you get up here? I saw 4 beautiful girls that are my good friends. And I wanted to be in your company.
That's sweet, Roger.
Anybody want to take a shower?
Of course, I don't too much blame the character because like I said, he was a child and he can't help how he was written. But as an adult, it's hard to overlook how weird his character really was, but I guess we wouldn't have gotten Go Home Roger without it. So yeah. Anywho, Tamara locates Michael and informs him that Lisa found out about Tia's tattoo and now Tia isn't allowed to see him anymore. Michael heavily blames himself for the current predicament he and Tia have found themselves in, but Tamara assures him that it's not his fault because he didn't know this would happen. He didn't know getting a tattoo at 15 years old would be a problem for his girlfriend's parents. How Michael living? Anyways, Michael sadly says that he wish he could hold Tia right now, and he ends up falling into Tamara's arms, honey.
What's going on?
Tamara returns back home to her shared bedroom with Tia that has now been covered in snotty tissue from Tia crying a river over Michael. Then Tia wants to know everything that occurred and doesn't want Tamara to leave out a single detail.
Everything? Yeah, and don't leave anything out.
Like I said earlier, Tamara's crush on Michael isn't malicious. What she feels for him is wrong, of course, but at the end of the day, she's not aiming to intentionally hurt her sister. So this leads to Tamara having an internal battle with herself because of how guilty she feels for holding Michael in her arms.
I told him you loved him.
I also held him in my arms.
Thanks a lot, Tamara.
And enjoying it a little too much.
Hey, I'm your sister.
I'm also a boyfriend-hugging scum.
And while Tamara is having this battle with herself, Tia tells her that she wants her to keep seeing Michael, that way she'll still have some kind of contact with him. At first, Tamara jumps on the idea, but then quickly gets herself in check.
Can't do this.
Look, Tia.
She tells Tia that her and Michael belong together and no one should come between them. Then she encourages Tia to talk to Lisa about the possibility of seeing Michael again.
Maybe we can soften her up, like, make something for her. What's her favorite dish?
See, I don't judge Tamara for having a crush on her sister's boyfriend because I know she don't want to steal the boy away from her or anything. She's just dealing with some feelings she can't control. It happens to the best of us. Now it sounds like I'm trying to say it happened to me. No, I've never been in love with any of my sister's boyfriends or girlfriends because my older sisters are lesbians now. So I've never been in love with anybody they were in love with.
I don't know nothing about that lifestyle. Whatever y'all got going on, because that's not me.
Anywho, then we end up in the living room with Ray and Lisa where they have a short conversation about parenting. Lisa expresses to Ray that she can't believe Tia got a tattoo and she feels like she doesn't know her own daughter anymore. Ray tells her that he understands what she's going through because right now Tamara won't even hang out with him due to embarrassment. I think what Lisa got going on takes the cake, Ray, but okay, thank you for trying to make her feel better.
I don't know, you know how teenagers do these crazy things. We just can't let it upset us.
Then Lisa and Tia meet up in the kitchen and begin the process of hashing things out. Tia took Tamara's advice and baked her mom a cake, which is a good starting point because I'm pretty sure we all remember how much Lisa loved to eat. Then Tia takes the opportunity to apologize to her mom for how things went down the last time they talked. She makes it very clear that she doesn't hate her and she has never hated her. This softens Lisa up and she tells Tia that she doesn't like grounding her and telling her that she can't see Michael, voicing that it makes her feel really bad. But Tia admits that she does deserve the punishment. This leads to Lisa picking Tia's brain and really trying to understand why the hell she got a tattoo, and Tia basically chalks it up to a spur of the moment kind of thing. Then while trying to lecture Tia, Lisa ends up spilling some of her own tea, child.
But 20 years from now, you be saying to yourself, why did I get that thing on my butt?
Turns out she got a tattoo behind a boy too back in the day, but instead of a half a heart and a name on her shoulder, it was a tiger on her butt. Now Lisa. Of course, now Tia is questioning why Lisa is coming down on her so hard when she did the same thing.
And now that guy's long gone and I'm stuck here with a tiger on my tail.
But Tia insists that what she and Michael have going on is different. Rightfully so, Lisa isn't buying it and she asks Tia if she was the one who wanted to get the tattoo. And again, Tia can barely complete a sentence, but she ends up saying that all she really knows is that her and Michael are in love.
Well, then if you're really in love, then you can just say no, right?
Lisa tells Tia that for now, just say no to everything, and I know all parents wish it was that simple. Tia ends up telling Lisa that she loves Michael and she's always going to love him and she needs to see him.
Stand up! Honey, you changing so much.
I'm still me.
Since everything has been pretty much handled and talked out, Lisa tells Tia that she's still grounded for 2 weeks and she's going to get that tattoo removed. But once her punishment is over, she can see Michael again. After only a 2-week punishment, that's only 14 days, and still being able to see Michael. Do I really think Tia is going to learn her lesson? I don't know, but that's why I'm nobody's mother. Anywho, the Tamara having a crush on Michael storyline still needs to be wrapped up, so we jump to her her. She's talking to the audience about how Michael and Tia are getting back together, but her and Michael have some unfinished business. She thinks that the hug her and Michael shared was the beginning of a relationship, but Tia is her sister. So although she likes Michael, she has to tell him that the hug meant nothing and hope he won't be too destroyed.
I can see Tia.
I see so much of myself in Tamara in this moment. All my crush had to do was hold eye contact with me for more than 2 seconds and I would swear he wanted me. And he never did. Anyways, 2 weeks go by and now Tia is able to see Michael again and you already know she's overly hyped about it.
I feel like I've been getting ready for 2 weeks. You have.
And I will say for somebody who got a whole tattoo, she kind of got off easy. Only grounded for 2 weeks and she's still able to leave the house by herself with the boy. Now I hate the fact that Tamara is feeling lonely and left out, so much so to the point that she's crushing on her sister's boyfriend. But Tamara would definitely be suffering a little bit more because if I were their mama, Tia would not be leaving the house without Tamara for a while. Half of the time, Tia and Tamara do be on the same kind of time, and so I don't even know if that would help, but still, it would be a while before I trusted Michael and Tia alone again.
No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am.
Anywho, after everything that has transpired, of course now Lisa is there to see Michael and Tia off. She ends up telling Michael that she's gonna let bygones be bygones, but the next time Tia comes home with something she didn't leave with, he's going to feel the wrath of the tiger.
Go out and have some fun. And remember, I'm like 7-Eleven. I'm everywhere.
I don't know if Tia could just walk out the door 2 weeks after getting a tattoo. Does Michael still have the tattoo? Did Michael ever get his tattoo removed? How good was tattoo removal in '94? Much like earlier, Tamara ends up in the kitchen suppressing her loneliness with food and Ray walks in and catches her.
Tamara, is that dessert a desperate cry for help?
He noticed that Tamara has been moping around the house lately and he wants to know if it's anything he could help with. At first, Tamara tells him that he wouldn't understand but breaks down without much pressure. She ends up telling her father that she can't be around Tia anymore because Tia is so in love with Michael and she's also so in love with Michael. And she says that she hates herself for feeling this way but she can't stop. Ray assumed Tamara was moping around the house over a pimple or something, so this all seems to be a little too much for him. Ray tells Tamara that he wishes he could say something to make it all go away, and again he proposes that they should go out and hit the town together.
I'll let you drive.
What are we waiting for?
Then we end up at a fancy restaurant with Ray and Tamara, and Ray had long money, so I know they're at the best of the best. I don't know why Tamara been playing this whole episode. I would have been outside with my father, especially if he was Ray Long Money Campbell.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
Anyways, Ray and Tamara start having a conversation about Ray's wife and Tamara's adoptive mom, who is known to be deceased in the sister universe. I think she died shortly after she and Ray adopted Tamara as a baby, which is why Tamara doesn't seem to have many, if any, memories of her. But it turns out that Ray and Tamara are currently at the same restaurant he and his wife used to bring Tamara to all the time back when she was still alive.
You know, your mom and I used to bring you to this restaurant all the time when you were a little girl.
Thinking about her adoptive mom makes Tamara realize how trivial moping around because of her crush on Michael really is, but Ray informs her that sometimes when you're in love, it can feel like the most important thing in the world. Then Tamara says that she can't believe she has a crush on her sister's boyfriend.
What kind of person am I?
Ray tells her to give herself a break, and to make her feel better, he then decides to tell her a little story of his own about how before he got married, he was kind of attracted to his brother's wife. Now, wait a minute, Ray. There's a big difference between being 15 and having a crush on your sibling's boyfriend or girlfriend and being a full-grown adult and eyeing your sibling's husband or wife. But I'm gonna let you have it, Ray, because I understand what you're trying to do. The moral of Ray's story is that things will be okay as long as Tamara knows where to draw the line, and she understands that she will eventually meet somebody one day. But Tamara disagrees, saying that she's never going to meet anyone like Michael because he's the best.
I'm never gonna look at another guy again.
But then Ray peeps a boy at another table looking at Tamara, and suddenly she forgets about everything she just said like 5 seconds ago. And when Tamara looks over at the table herself, she notices that the boy's mom seems to be checking Ray out.
I still got it.
This leads to Ray coming up with the bright idea that him and Tamara should go over to that table and lay their game down together.
A father-daughter pickup? That's sick.
Ray tells Tamara that they need to be adventurous and throw caution to the wind, so they go over to their table, but it's not a mother and her son, it's an older woman with her younger boyfriend. So why were they staring at Ray and Tamara like that? I don't know, but I do have a small idea. One thing I've learned from covering mostly 90s sitcoms and really deep diving into these episodes and paying attention more than I ever have is that some of the writers were weird. But if I say the joke I think the writers were trying to make or what I think they were trying to imply, I'm either going to be reaching or a sensitive Gen Zer. So
child. Anyway, so
then the episode basically ends with Tamara saying she's over Michael but still has to suffer through Tia going on and on and on and on and on about him. First, before we get into anything, I must address the elephant in the room, and the elephant in the room is my hair. Yes, you know, some things are happening up here. Some things are happening. Depends on when I get this video out, I'll be near the 3-month mark in my lock journey. It's nearly been 3 months since I decided to lock my hair. I twisted my hair and decided that I just wasn't gonna take them out this time, child. It was time. It was time for the lock. So I'm on my lock journey. So that explains what's happening here, you know. If you don't understand what's happening here, that's what's happening here. I'm on my lock journey, you know, just bear with me. Be there for me. Be my friend in this time. Be there for me right now. I'm in the starter lock phase of my lock journey. Okay. My favorite wig gave up on me, so I just knew I had to do something to my hair, child. I had to do something to my hair, child. And this is the best thing I can come up with right now. Just not too much on me. Not too much on me. I guess I'm saying all that to say just not too much on me. And if you say anything about my hair, you anti-black. Anyways, deep diving and really analyzing this episode made me realize how much I loved Lisa and Ray as parents. They were so understanding when it came to Tia and Tamara, because Tia and Tamara used to get into some things. I don't know if the girls really remember, but Tia and Tamara used to get into some things. Wasn't they smoking cigarettes one time? Ray and Lisa never overly judged them girls. Never called them girls out their names, never overly punished them. Shit, I kind of think they was a little too lenient. I'm not gonna lie. Tia got a whole tattoo and only got grounded for 2 weeks and was still able to see the boy. Ray and Lisa were lenient as hell, but you gotta remember that Ray really didn't have no say-so in the situation, because even though they was raising Tia and Tamara under the same roof, you watch the show, Ray and Lisa never really overstepped when it came to watching the show. That is a little weird for me that Tia would feel like she don't have a father and Tamara would feel like she don't have a mother, and I'm like, you know, Ray and Lisa right there, but that's just what they dynamic was. Ray and Lisa never overstepped when it came to each other, when it came to parenting, and sometimes there would be stuff Tia could do that Tamara couldn't do because Lisa was very lenient. I'm not gonna lie. I think Lisa understanding that she used to be young, wild, and free too. She let Tia have her freedom and she let Tia have her independence. I'm not gonna lie, she did. And Ray did that with Tamara too. They were very understanding with them girls. Since I am on this crusade to defend Moesha, when I say I'm defending Moesha, I'm not talking about her personality. I'm not talking about, you know, a lot of people like to bring up her personality. I'm not talking about Moesha's personality. Even though, I really don't dislike Moesha's personality. I'm about to go see one thing about me, child. I'm gonna talk about A, B, and C to end up at D. But y'all know I'm gonna pull it back together and I'm gonna get to where I'm going. I wanna say that I don't dislike Moesha's personality. Moesha represents a type of black girl that I never was. So I find her personality interesting. And I like to say I don't think black girls have to be likable to gain respect. Is Moesha likable? Debatable. When I say I'm defending Moesha, I'm defending Moesha's right to make dumb and crazy decisions and not be harshly judged like she is. So this episode was about Tia getting attacked too. There's an episode of Moesha where Moesha gets attacked too, right? But she didn't get a tattoo over a boy. I remember Niecy, Kim, and her were like doing truth or dare, and they dared Moesha to get a tattoo, and she did. She got like a little rose on her stomach. Been a minute since I've seen this episode, but I think Kim and Niecy tricked Moesha. I think they were supposed to get nose rings, piercings, or something, and they got fake versions while Moesha really got a tattoo. I don't know. Where am I getting it from? I could be mixing up two different shows together. My point is, Moesha got a tattoo and it had nothing to do with a boy. But instead of understanding Moesha I think Frank called her a tramp. And that's my thing. That's my thing. You know what? Since we're here, let's keep it going. That's my thing when it comes to Moesha. I don't think people understand that Moesha was dealing with a daddy who wanted to rule over her instead of understanding her. Frank wanted Moesha to do what he say, no questions asked, no pushback, just do what I say. I don't think it worked like that with teenagers. That's why I never want to be anybody's parent. I don't think I have the emotional capacity to deal with a teenager. I don't think I do. That's why I don't want to be nobody's mama. That's me being self-conscious. I don't want to be nobody's mama because I don't think I have the emotional capacity to deal with having to be responsible for another human life. That's me. See, now I'm all over the place. I get in these outros and just be talking. My point is that I don't think some people recognize the fact that Moesha didn't have an understanding father. D was more understanding of Moesha than Frank. He just wanted to rule over Moesha. He just wanted Moesha to do what he said, no questions asked. It don't work like that sometimes. And I think Ray and Lisa had a better understanding of that than anybody. They never judged Tia and Tamara. They talked to them. Lisa had her own stories to tell. Ray had his own stories to tell. They understood their kids. They wasn't just trying to rule over them and make them do what they say and behave. They actually understood that sometimes teenagers are going to do crazy things. And that's what I really love about Lisa and Ray. I never realized how much I love Lisa and Ray's parenting. They were so understanding. It was so refreshing to watch this episode, and instead of Tia being called a tramp, Frank called his daughter a tramp for getting a tattoo. I spent a lot of time defending Moesha in my comment section, and I'll keep doing it. There are people who sympathize with Frank more than they sympathize with Moesha. For what? When it comes to Moesha, I just get to talking on and on and on. And Moesha ain't even got nothing to do with this fucking topic. What was the point? I think the point is that I love Ray and Lisa. I think they were two of the best parents black sitcoms ever offered. I think they might be right underneath dark skin Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil. I shouldn't have had to snap to remember his name, but don't judge me. Oh, Victor and Tanya were really good parents. They were understanding of Raven. Raven got into some insane things. Raven was doing some crazy shit, and her parents never judged her. It's been a minute since I've watched Moesha from beginning to end, so please, I'm just talking about the little that I do remember, but I don't remember Frank ever sitting down and talking to Moesha and trying to pick her brain and understand why she was making the decision she was making. Frank sent Moesha to another school. Frank was treating Moesha like she was just so disobedient and rebellious and just out here doing anything behind boys, and the girl wasn't even. That's what gets me. Moesha was smart. Moesha was intelligent. Them grades was good. Like, I think Moesha was a good child to have. Imagine Moesha under the guidance of Ray and Lisa. Imagine Moesha having a daddy who actually wanted to understand her and not just rule over her. Just imagine that. But then again, I need to rewatch the show. It's been a minute since I binged Moesha, and imagine me binging Moesha. No, I would never binge Moesha. I would never binge Moesha and change my mind about the fact that the reason Moesha gets harshly judged is because people have labored her as fast. I would never change my mind about that because I know that's what it is, because like I said, Moesha wasn't doing none the other girls weren't doing. I think, I was having a debate with somebody about Moesha in my last video because I brought her up in my Raven video, and I think somebody was saying something like Moesha would have left her friends for dead for a boy. You think Tia and Tamara weren't leaving each other for boys? Because they were. All the girls were doing that, so I don't understand why it's such a morally big deal when it comes to Moesha. I don't get that. I think people just overjudge that girl. That's my stance when it comes to Moesha. People overjudge that girl. It ain't that serious because she wasn't doing none the other girls weren't doing. Tia got a whole tattoo behind a boy. Moesha would never do nothing like that, and I'm not judging neither one of them. Some black parents just want to tell you to do something and you do it. No questions, no pushback. Sometimes it don't work like that, but again, I'm going to say I'm nobody's mother. This is me just speaking from no experience. I would never have to deal with any of this with my babies, eggs and cheese, my cats. They would never do anything like this. So at the end of the day, Yeah.